Good evening, good evening, good evening. A Better You Lifestyle Sunday night. And this is our first Sunday in the month of May. And I'm your host, Willie A. Price. Willie A. Price Speaks. And tonight, we're basically going to do a freestyle. And I call it a freestyle because I just realized it was almost 8 o'clock and I had not set up the show or the information for tonight. So I'm going to set it up, and I'm just kind of sending out something right now to a few folks so they'll know what's going on. Hold on one second. So, Better You Lifestyle. Again, my name is Willie A. Price. Willie A. Price Speaks. And as you know, for those who may watch the show or may not watch the show, we do this every Sunday at 8 o'clock p.m. Every Sunday at 8 o'clock p.m. First week is always a Better You Lifestyle, Understanding Your You, where we talk about how to understand who we are and what makes things better for us in our lives. Our second week is The Mother's Love, where we talk about how to work with our children and the youth that we work with in the community and how to make things better for them, how to show them how to make better opportunities for themselves, better choices for themselves, things like that. And then our third week is Financially You. With Financially You, it's all about financial literacy and how to create generational wealth for yourself as well as your family. Because what you'll find is that, you know, you'll have a person that's creating wealth for themselves or learning how to do financial literacy activities and how to better manage their money and do budgeting, but they don't teach it to the rest of the family. They don't teach it to the children. They don't make it a family activity. So as a result, you have one person in a family doing something that would benefit the entire family. And then our fourth week is Making Your House Your Home. And with Making Your House Your Home, it's all about how to make your house your home, whether it's a rental property, whether it's your home that you own, whether it's a property that you are looking at getting into with real estate. We talk about real estate on that fourth Sunday. That fourth Sunday is all about how to benefit from ownership or investing in real estate. So that is basically the outline for the show. So tonight, understanding your you. Understanding your you. And like I said, we're going to freestyle tonight because there's a couple things that was going on the last couple of weeks, and I wasn't sure how to talk about them or what to talk about with them. But you'll find that sometimes you're going through things, whether it's with friends, family, or whoever, and it may be something that really hurts you. Or it may not even be friends or family. It might be a competitor or another business or something, some kind of way it's having an effect on you. And as a result of that, excuse me, as a result of that, we tend to want to retaliate or want to respond or want to give our side of the story or whatever the case may be. But we want to do something to get to make the picture clear and give our side of the situation. And when we do that, sometimes we don't think about how our response is going to be received, especially if it's in a defensive manner or if it's in a aggressive manner where you're cursing or you're showing that frustration or that anger in your voice and in your appearance. And so now people look at what you're doing, not so much as what the person or the business or the agency or whatever situation, they don't look at so much of what that situation was. Now they're looking at your response. And understanding your you, we talk about how we have to present ourselves, because sometimes automatically responding to something that bothers you or hurts you or has offended you, if you automatically respond to it, sometimes we don't respond in the best way. Sometimes we don't react in the best way because we're reacting, especially for women. And I say women because women are emotional people, and sometimes men do the same thing because a lot of times men have been raised in a single family household by women, and we respond more emotional than with thought. And I talk about that all the time, that men normally respond and do things based on thought, on how they think about, or how they think about situation, then they respond to it. Women respond more emotionally because they're hurt. And because if they're hurt, then they respond. And sometimes it's not always a good response because they're not thinking about their actions. They react and then they think about them later. You have some men that do the same thing. So in this situation where you have a situation that's going on and someone has offended you or did something wrong to you or did something to your business, and you respond in a manner that makes you look like the bad guy, makes you look like the hurt person, makes you look like the angry boyfriend, the angry hurt, angry girlfriend. It makes you look bad. And so sometimes we have to sit down and just take a break or take a step back and just think about the situation. And then maybe even just sit down and write out, because I do a lot of writing. So I like to write my journals and things like that. So sometimes I'll just write out some of my responses and some of my thoughts and some of my feelings about things that I've gone through. And as a result of that, it allows me to not only write those thoughts out, but it also allows me to look at how someone else on the outside might perceive that thought or that activity or that action that I'm about to say or those words that I'm saying. And sometimes it allows me to maybe add more words or say it in a different manner. And it sounds really technical, but the thing is, we do it all the time. Sometimes we're going through something and we sit and we think about our actions and like, I should call and cuss them out, or I should call and do this, or I should bust their windows out. I mean, you have all people do all kinds of things, and it's always at a spur of the moment, a bounce back reaction to something that has happened that has either upset them or hurt them or offended their business or whatever the case may be. Sorry about that, people. And as a result of that, we end up looking like the bad guy. And that's the whole premise of understanding your you, is understanding where you are in certain situations and allowing yourself to work through what you're going to do. Take a step back and think about it, or just think about some of the thoughts and how would you respond to this, and then how would people perceive the way you responded. Because again, at the end of the day, they're not so much going to see what was done to you or what the business did to you or what the person did to you. They're going to see your response, your reaction, the way you attempted to resolve the situation. So if you do that in a manner, especially if you're in a business situation, and you do that in a manner that makes you really look bad or makes you look childish or makes you look aggressive and angry, how many people you think are going to still use your business? Not too often they are. So what you want to do is you have to figure those things out for yourself. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because there's a situation going on with one of my businesses with actually a state agency that's doing something to one of my businesses. And I think it's really a racial situation. And I think it's a discriminatory situation. So instead of me responding, I've had several thoughts about how I wanted to respond and things I wanted to do and all kind of stuff I was going to do. But then I had to think about, okay, how does that make my business look? How does that make me look if I do some of the things I thought about doing? And so right now I'm putting together some ideas and some responses to what's been going on with me with this agency. And like I said, it's a state agency. It's not like a local business or something. It's actually a state agency that's discriminating against a minority business. And I am basically putting things together to put it out there to make people aware of what's going on with this agency. But then I have to think about it. When when I put this out there, because this is such it's a state agency, it's the New York State. So when I put this out there, I have to look at how or what could happen to me, or what kind of attacks are going to come after me, or what the responses are going to be from not only that state agency, but people affiliated with that state agency and other organizations affiliated with that state agency. Because when I say it's a state agency, it's really a large state agency, and they oversee a lot of different things. So it could really affect my business and the things that I try to do in my business. So I've been really, really, really sitting around just thinking about how I want to address it. And so I'm doing some investigating and I'm getting my information together because, like I said, when I do this, if I do this, I have to come correct. And sometimes that's what you have to think about. Or I may not do anything. I may not do anything because I may just move in silence. And as a result of that, people won't know what's going on, which is sometimes, that's what I want to do, to make people aware of what was going on. When I first got into the situation, I was ready to just blow it off the roof, and do all kind of media stuff. And I thought about it and I said, but what would that do to all of my other businesses? All of the things I'm trying to do, how would that affect contracts that I'm trying to get? That could block my contracts. People prevent, they reach out and they contact other organizations and say, no, don't support him. Don't give him a contract. Don't do business with him. So I have to think about all those things. And so even though I'm talking about business, you have to think about that in no matter what situations you're going through. Because again, if you're going through a situation where you're in a relationship and now that person has done something to hurt you or cheated on you or hurt you in some kind of manner, the first thing you want to do is pay them back. You want to respond. You want to, let people know, hey, this is what they did, or this is what they didn't do, or, this is what really happened. And as a result of that, sometimes you end up looking like the bad guy because at the time when you may be responding, you're responding emotionally. And sometimes when we respond emotionally to situations, we don't always have our best game face on. And not having your best game face in a situation where you're hurt or responding emotionally, you can respond in a manner that makes you look like the bad guy when you're not. So you really want to just sit down, and I'm sharing this with people because, like I said, this situation happened with me. It's been happening for the last couple of months with this state agency. And believe me, y'all, people who know me know how I am. I can go off the chain real quick and just blow things up and go to the media and write stories. And, because I love to write and tell about folks. So I had to think about not just putting my story out there, but how would that story affect my bottom line of my business and the things that I'm trying to do. And so sometimes you have to think about, is it worth me giving my side, or worth me telling my story, or worth me explaining to people what happened in that relationship or happened on that job that made me, whatever the outcome was. Because sometimes, again, you got to remember too, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you anything. So as a result of that, you're telling people, and most of them don't care. Most of them don't care. Some might even applaud at the fact that you're going through what you're going through. So, so a lot of those things you got to think about. Is it really worth you responding or retaliating or putting your side of the story out there? Does it really matter as long as you know the story, as long as you carry yourself in a manner that's going to allow you to not only still be able to hold your head up high, but also allow you the opportunity to continue to move forward without the repercussions of people talking about you behind your back or spreading additional rumors about you, or spreading this information about you that makes you look like the bad guy. Takes away from your business, takes away from your reputation, takes away from your social status, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes we have to sit down and just think about, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Understanding your you isn't always all about you. Understanding your you is all about understanding about who you are and how you want to present yourself and where you're trying to go in life. I talk about that all the time with understanding your you. Where are you trying to go? And your actions sometimes determine where you're going to end up going. So think about that. I'm not going to keep you guys long tonight because, like I said, this is a freestyle for me. I hadn't planned on, I didn't know what I was going to talk about, but I wanted to come on and talk about this because it's something that I have been thinking about. And as a matter of fact, when I thought about doing tonight's show, I was going to put that agency on blast. And again, I had to think about it. What would be the repercussions if I put that agency on blast? Because again, like I said, this is a state agency. It's not like a local business. It's a state organization that's connected with businesses all over the state. So me responding and putting them on blast could really hurt my business and everything else that I'm doing because my one poke could end up getting several punches from them in the long run. So sometimes just think about your actions and think about situations and sit down and write them. Sit down and write them or go for a walk and think about what you would say or what you would do. And then think about if someone was hearing what you were saying, how do you think you would respond to it if that was you listening to that situation? And see, a lot of times we don't do that. We don't think about our actions. We react to something, and then later we say, "Oh man, I wish I wouldn't have said that," or "I wish I wouldn't have done that," or "I wish I would have said it a different way." And as a result, it's already too late. And so now we're in a situation where we've said some things, done some things, or created some new bridges that have been burnt based on emotions. And so we have to learn to understand who we are, understanding you're you, and then determine is that the best option for you. Again, my name is Willie A. Price. Willie A. Price Speaks. Next week is A Mother's Love. And next week, we're going to talk about some things with some of the programs I'm doing with young people and a program I have coming up, Family Fitness Program, which we just got funding from several agencies in Western New York. So we're going to be putting on a family fitness and a run, jump, and throw program for youth and their families. So it's going to be all kind of activities. We're going to have Zumba, aerobics, nutritional people out there. It's a whole community event for Niagara County, but it's open to all counties, but it's focused on the youth and obesity. That's one of the things is we're trying to help combat obesity, not just in the children, but in the family as well. So we're trying to make it a family event. And that's going to start May the 14th. So I'm just kind of putting it out there. But next week, I'm going to talk about it in more detail because we're still putting everything together. But it's been a great opportunity for me to be able to highlight my Niagara Track and Field Club, which is a part of this event that's coming up, the Family Fitness Program. So all this stuff that we're doing is all free. It's free to the community. So we're inviting everybody to come out and support and be a part of this. We're going to be doing running techniques and jumping technique and throwing techniques, hurdles, long jump, how to run properly. And then we're going to be doing, like I said, aerobics and Zumba and line dancing. We're trying to set all these things up. And that's going to be for the parents and the adults and the older people. So while the kids are doing one thing, the families and the adults are doing something else. Because again, it's for 5 years old and up. So if you got 5-year-olds out there, we're not letting them parents leave them out there by themselves. The parents are going to be somewhere nearby in case we need them to address something with their child. So again, I'm going to talk about that next week. Family Fitness Program, Run, Jump, and Throw Program, the Niagara Track and Field Club. We're going to talk about all that next week, as well as how to create better lifestyles for our children, because it all starts, I always tell people, it always starts physical, personal, and financial development. If your physical development is poor, if you're obese and you're having issues with walking up and down stairs and bending over tying your shoes, that's all physical. And if you can't take care of the physical, the personal and the financial is never going to work out, because your physical affects everything. And you guys know my story about my fall. When they told me I would never walk again, all the money in the world wouldn't help me. All the books in the world, all the training, all the workshops, all the things I do, none of that could help me because my physical was being affected. So we're going to talk about that next week. Physical development for youth and the Family Fitness Program. Again, Willie A. Price Speaks. You guys have a blessed day. Have a great week. And I'll see you next Sunday. Take care.